Alright guys, I'm going to show you a series of exercises now that I use when I don't have access to a gym to build my glutes. These are open chain movements, meaning that the extremity of the body is moving and the working part of the body is staying still. So the glutes are driving the movement but the feet are moving, unlike a glute bridge where the feet would be planted and the hips would be moving. That would be closed chain. So these open chain movements are specifically good for stuff like lower back rehab because you can keep the lower back still while you exercise the glutes. It's also good for gymnastics applications because often in gymnastics the legs will be floating. If you think about stuff like a straddle planche, or even as a supplementary exercise for stuff like middle splits and pancake, okay? The applications are really endless. Now, for most people, the intention as you do these exercises is going to be to keep the abs tucked, to keep the pelvis in posterior tilt, slightly ribs tucked, and extend the hip from there without moving that structure. That's going to focus more on the abs and the glutes while lengthening the hip flexors, areas that are chronically weak and tight in most people. However, if you want to arch your back a bit more and extend this way, there's nothing wrong with that either. Just understand it's a different intention. It's going to target your lower back more than your hips because of the way your body's set up. So generally, that's not going to be the one that you would favor, but it also has a place as a supplementary exercise. Now, the next thing I'm going to mention is while I do these exercises, pay attention carefully to where my hips are and how my feet are turned. This will affect the intention of the movement. Sometimes I keep a flexed hip and I'll be moving my leg outward. Other times I start with a flexed hip and I'll be moving my leg back, okay? I'll mention this to you as I go along so that it's clearer for you. But again, these are important distinctions. The protocol for these exercises will be to do 10 to 30 reps with a 10 to 30 second hold at the end of the exercise. You can then rest for 1 minute in between, or you can do sets of 5 to 10, still keep the hold, and then move through all of the exercises consecutively, resting at the end. The format, that's up to you. All right, let's begin. Starting in hip flexion, I'm going to finish in hip extension, keeping the legs locked and keeping the heels pressed back. Once I've done my reps, I do my hold and moving on. Next one, I'm going to start in flexion, go to extension, and then work abduction. Notice I turn my toes out. Holding outward. Next one, I'm going to start with my feet in flexion together and end up in extension and abduction. Turning the toes out again. Next one, I'm going to bring my feet together on my knees out. This will mean I'll be slightly in hip flexion. And from there, I'm going to keep my knees where they are and extend my knees outwards. Okay? Try to keep everything the same, just move at the knee. And then last one, for this one, I'm going to bend my knees, flex to press my heels back, and kick up. Enjoy.